Hey guys, so it's time to compare the iPhone 5 versus the HTC One. So this will be a fun video to do, definitely. So we will be going over a lot of things. You can see my Spotify over there. Of course I use Spotify. Spotify is awesome. Spotify is great. Now, this will be a nice fight. We have the iPhone 5, which is Apple's phone from last year. They will probably release a new phone pretty soon, maybe this summer, maybe later, but we'll see a new iPhone. But don't complain about that, there's always a phone that will be older than the other one. So then we do have the HTC One, which is HTC's flagship smartphone for 2013. And I already made a review comparing HTC One versus the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the Sony Xperia Z, which is Sony's flagship smartphone. So it's time now to compare it against the iPhone. And yes, I know some people, you will say, why you compare it against the iPhone 5? Well, I have to do it. The iPhone 5 is a good phone. I use it every single day to listen to music because it did happen some weird thing with my iPod Touch. Why do I like the iPhone 5 so much here in the beginning? We will of course go over a lot of things here, but one of the things why I love the iPhone 5 and why I use it every single day is that it's extremely nice to use just as an iPod because it doesn't need to have a super large screen if you just use Spotify. I use Spotify a ton with my iPhone 5. So just listening, I love the app. And it's just great because it doesn't have to be super big. I can have this one in my other pocket. So if we go over the price also, is something that you might want to check out. Now the iPhone, I assume, should be a little bit cheaper. Can we get in pounds? That's the question. No, I don't believe so. Okay, so it's around £500 in price versus the HTC One. Let's fire this up again. Should we go 32GB one? So we can see here, just because this is they picked the iPhone 5, the 32GB variant here, we can see that it costs around £600 to around 600 to 700. And while you can get the HTC One 32GB variant for a little bit less, 500 to around £600. So if you get the 32GB variant, but if you get the 16GB variant of the iPhone 5, of course, you can get away a little bit cheaper, around the same price as the new HTC One. So if we start off now with the form factor, the first thing that you will notice with the iPhone 5 is that it's smaller. It doesn't have as big display. So you get this 4-inch display on the iPhone 5, stepping up from earlier iPhones. Very happy that Apple did that they finally made the screen a little bit bigger. For me though, it's still a little bit too small for being used as a daily smartphone, but for an MP3 player it's awesome because you don't have to have that big then. So 4-inch screen here, LED backlit IPS LCD display. We'll go over all the specs also. You do have just one hardware button down here that you can simply tap, and that's Apple-like simplicity. So you have the camera in the middle also. And if you now look at the design of the HTC One, it's a little bit different. First, you do get stereo speakers at the front that they call boom sound, which are working together with Beats Audio that you can see at the bottom here. So this stereo speaker that you get both on the bottom here and also at the top sounds amazing. Okay, they produce amazing sound and it's just awesome. We have a bigger display also. You can see a 4.7-inch display, not like many other high-end smartphones from other companies this year that's mostly 5-inch. This one is a little bit more slimmed down, but then we also should remember that in terms of its design, it still is a little bit sometimes bulkier or bigger because it has a stereo speaker. So then you have this big display here. You get the home key and also a back key. You don't get the key in the middle here, you just get the logo. What I like here is that the keys aren't on-screen keys, so they aren't built into the screen like that you get with the Xperia Z. I like it when it's on the outside, so you get the full screen experience and you won't accidentally touch most of the time. Something weird. So that is the front side here. If you now check out the right side, we can see here that we do get the SIM tray port here, where you insert your little card there, your SIM card. Same with the HTC One here up on the left side. So that is that on that phone. While on the HTC One here, we do get the volume up and down keys on the right side, which is a little bit, I'm not sure about the build quality here, but when you move it up and down, it moves a little bit weird. Also looks like it's gonna break. And it's also a little bit hard here to feel compared to the buttons on the iPhone 5. If you take a look here on the left side, as I said earlier, we do have this SIM little thing here at the top, which you need to use that little thing to stick in to insert your SIM card, same as with the iPhone 5. So you don't have any other buttons here on the HTC One. On the left side on the iPhone 5, you get very easy to reach up and down button, volume up and down buttons, and then also you get a little mute switch here if you want to mute the sound. So it could be pretty useful. And then you have the antenna here, I assume. Very simplistic design though. On the iPhone at the top side here, we can see that we have the power on button. That's very easy to reach because it's a small phone. So it's perfect to have buttons here at the top side. Now, the HTC One also has its a power on button at the top side, but it's a little bit harder to feel because it doesn't point out as much. So in terms of buttons here, I definitely do believe the quality feel here of the iPhone is better. And then also the headphone jack is what you're getting here on the top on the HTC One, while it's located at the bottom on the iPhone 5. And then also on the iPhone 5 you do have this new port here to charge your device up, and you can insert the cable both ways. You can see also here that we do have the speaker at the grill here, I think you can call it like that. So that's better than many other new smartphones like the Galaxy S4 that has that on the back, because if you put it on the table you don't have the sound on the back, so you still hear the sound pretty good. Versus the Galaxy S4 where it's at the back. But of course it's even better here on the HTC One because it's a stereo speaker, so both directions here. Awesome when you play games like this or watch movies or play music or whatever. But it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. If you take a look at the back here, you get this nice little material here on both these two devices. In the middle kind of feels the same. You get aluminum here. I don't remember exactly what this material here, but it kind of feels the same on the iPhone. So I think that the HTC got inspired a little bit here by Apple when they did produce this design. You also get this kind of arch look here that it points a little bit like this on the HTC One. Both phones of course feels extremely and incredibly solid when you hold them in your hand. You get the 4 megapixel ultra pixel camera from HTC that takes low resolution pictures, but it's ultra pixel, so the pixels are a little bit better. So this one usually wins in low light conditions. And then also has a Zoe feature, which I think is kind of like a gimmick feature, where you get an 8 megapixel camera here on the iPhone 5. Definitely produce high resolution images. So now also what I do prefer here when you put the iPhone down on the table here, I do prefer that it is flat back, so whatever you push here on the front side, it will stay like it should. It doesn't wobble. Like this phone can wobble a little bit if you do it like this. Not too bad though. I don't think actually about it when I use the phone as a daily driver that much. you kind of get a feel to it. You're gonna kind of get used to it. Actually, it's not super bad. And then also Apple, I love it that they did remove from the earlier designs on the iPhones where they had a full glass back, because now it's only glass here at the bottom and also at the top. I still think that they can improve it though, because as you can see, the device moves very easy here, even when I try to do sometimes some simple things. But it's still better though than previous generations iPhones that has had a full glass back. Now it's only at the top and the bottom here, but I'm not sure what happens if you break one of these parts. Do you have to replace the whole back? I'm not really sure. It also should have some protection here for the lens here if you would drop it. So that could be good to know over there. Of course, you have a glass front here also, Gorilla Glass, the first generation, I'm pretty sure. So that could be good to know. You get this kind of aluminum side that makes the phone feel extremely exclusive. The HTC One, one thing I don't like about the design is that it points kind of like this, when it could be way more rounded off here. So I don't like it that it points like this. It should point more like this or be more rounded off, because that would feel a lot more better in my hand. And I like it that they had a different feel here to the power or the volume up and down keys, but they could stick out a little bit more. That would make the phone feel a little bit better. And then I'm not sure about the build quality here when I move these buttons around. And then also this one is a little bit hard to reach, because the design of the phone is like this when you have your hand coming up like this. So it should have been probably a little bit more rounded off here, or a design like this. So I'm not sure how the design team, how they were thinking over there, because when you want to put the device on and you hold the phone like this, you have to reach up here and try to turn on the display. When Apple could do this, Apple can have first Apple were clever enough that they did put the power button here on the right side, and then also because it's a 4-inch screen, it's very easy to reach the top side here, and I don't have super huge hands or anything, you know. Also, what I like about the iPhone is that I can just put it on the front side, while if I want to do the same thing here on the HTC One, it's a little bit hard because I can't touch down here. I can't touch with one hand. I have to, or I can if I use more fingers to fire up the display. For me, it's one small thing there that makes me a little bit annoyed. And then also you can see here some people could get a little bit annoyed that this one is not in the middle. They had actually put it on the side. Some people also have complained about the quality on this one, and also did see some build quality issues that a lot of people have had, some screen issues also. I haven't had that many though. I think that the build quality is pretty decent, and that it kind of works. Also some small things here. The headphone jack is, you can see that it's exactly in the middle here on the iPhone, while on the HTC One it's a little bit, could have been in the middle here. That would probably be looking a little bit better. So if we continue on here, and so to sum it up here, design wise, both phones feel extremely solid here. But definitely the buttons and the controls goes here to the iPhone 5, while the sound here definitely, and the big screen really goes here to the HTC One. Both phones of course have like a unibody construction, so you can't take out the battery, so the battery is what you get. You don't also have SD card support, so make sure when you buy one of these that you buy one with the size that you want, the biggest size if you want the biggest size, because you can't change that later on. So if we continue now and check out some other things. So let's take a look at the software. So we start off here with the iPhone. As always, it's very simple here. I'm running the latest iOS 6.1.4. Something you do know with iOS is that you always will get the latest release first. Apple's really good at releasing their iOS updates pretty quick, while in the Android world, you don't really know if you're gonna get the latest version of Android. So when we fire up the display here, you can see this is how the latest version looks like. So also when you play music, you will see it right here. So you can unlock the device. You also have quick access to the camera. So quickly access there to the camera app. You can take a picture quick, and I can go out. And this is how the home screen looks like on the iPhone 5. So still extremely easy here. One swipe here to the left, and you can search for anything, any different apps that you can have on your phone. You have more home screens here, and of course I assume that you can just produce new ones, or you can't actually produce new ones, I think, but you need to just add more apps. The notification center looks like this, which is still kind of bad because you don't have full control here actually. You don't have any quick toggles. You can of course get some of those things with jailbreak, but jailbreak usually makes my iPhone very unstable. Like the Spotify app usually crash when I had a jailbreak here on my iPhone 5, but you can see some quick notifications here from Spotify. I don't like this thing that I can't remove different updates here. You have more freedom there in the Android world. So you have a bunch of apps here. If you want to go into the settings, this is how it looks like. Just one page, very easy, very simple. Apple hasn't made that many changes over the last few years. You still can't have widgets either, but it's simple. It's very simple to use iOS, and I think old people love it because it's that simple. And you also do get a lot of quality apps in the Android or in the Apple world, because in the Apple world people love to pay for apps, and usually you get very high quality apps, because a lot of developers go with iOS because they know that is where the money will flow. Well, of course, if we are on the HTC One here, it's a little bit different. First here on the lock screen, you can see that you have quick access to 4 apps. You also can see this little widget here with the time and your precision. So we can unlock this device just like that, and you will see one of my home screens. So a quick swipe here to the left on the HTC One will bring up to you a blink feed. Now blink feed is a cool way where you can check out the latest news from your favorite websites, like I have Engadget over here. I also have other tech websites like The Verge, where I can quickly just by one swipe here to the left see the latest tech news here. And I can also, if I have Facebook, I can add my Facebook friends' latest status updates here, and it could be probably pretty useful if you want to check out news and stuff. The bad thing though with this is that you might not have Facebook. You might want to have the freedom to remove this blink feed feature, but you can't actually. It's on a home screen page, and you can't actually remove this page, which makes me a little bit annoyed. You also can see on this blink feed page the widget that you did see on the lock screen also, and then also if you want to edit these pages, your home screens, you can just tap up here, and then you can add different websites. You can also add sources like Facebook, Flickr, Twitter, and your calendar, and some other cool things. You can see here you have different categories where you can see what you want to display. Also you can search for stuff, and then also if you want to add more home screens, you can simply just go over here, and the default home screen will be the blink feed page, but you can easily just change it to another page here, to the default page. Also, if you don't want to see, if you want to get rid of blink feed totally, you can just change to another launcher like the Apex launcher or the Nova launcher. So if you want to change home screen here, you just tap on a new home screen here and make it our home, or make it our home. We can set it like the default one where your phone always will go to when you tap on home button. So if you want to add apps to a home screen, we can just tap on a home screen. We can just simply click on the apps that we want to add, and also some widgets or some quick shortcuts here also that you can quickly change. So that is how easy that kind of system works. The app drawer here also is kind of simple. Just one tap here in the middle, and you have some kind of swiping app drawer, a little bit different from other versions of Android, and this is Sense 5.0 on top of Android 4.1. You can see here that we have a quick cool way here to you swipe one way up here, and then we quickly can search for different apps and other cool things in our phone. And also we can check out how the menu looks like here in HTC Sense. They have a very beautiful font, if you ask me personally. Looks very nice here. And you have a lot of opportunities here to change the appearance of your phone, of course. With Android you can change the launcher, which totally changed the experience with the device. When we go down here from the notification center or notification area, here's where you will see all of your latest things when you download and install something or take a screenshot or whatever. You can also see that we have a battery save function here and a quick access here to the settings page. If you want to multitask on the HTC One, you can just double tap here on the home screen, and that's kind of the same the way you do on the iPhone. You just double tap here on the home button, and then you can just hold in on apps and you quickly swipe them. So you have a 3x3 grid here with all of your multitasking apps that you've been, or every app that you have opened up. So to simply close something, you swipe up like this. I don't like that you can't remove everyone at the same time like you can do with the Galaxy S4, but it still works pretty good. You also have Google Now, which is kind of like Siri. You just hold in the home button and it will bring you straight to that. Also, of course, when you have a back key here, but you don't have a menu key. So in some apps, some older apps, you will see a menu key at the bottom here if you wonder how you do some stuff, but that will be a menu key in certain apps. So if we now continue on, that was a quick little view here of the software. So to sum it up, I mean, like the software, it's easier easier. You really know what you get in the iOS experience, and it's good if you already have a lot of iOS devices at home. If you want to have widgets, you want to be able to customize more of the appearance and stuff, Android is definitely the way to go here with the HTC One. And I should also say that if you jailbreak the iPhone 5, you can definitely customize a lot of things like the transition effects, the multitasking area, the notification center, and you can kind of get the same experience like you would get with Android, but then you have to jailbreak and you can get some bugs and that your phone will stop to work sometimes. But that's of course something that you have to that's something that could happen basically. So if we continue now and check out the hardware and the full specs here. So first I should say that where I live, the iPhone 5 is not available in like a 4G variant, while the new HTC One is. So you get faster carrier speeds here where I live in Sweden on the HTC One. The iPhone also is a little bit thinner here. And of course it's lighter because it's a smaller device. You get a LED backlit IPS LCD display here on the iPhone 5 versus a Super LCD 3 display on the HTC One, which is a full HD One 1920 x 1080p resolution, 4.7 inch big, versus a 640 by 1136 resolution on the iPhone 5. And also the iPhone 5 comes equipped with the Gorilla Glass on top, a scratch protection, while you get version 2 of Gorilla Glass on the HTC One, so it should be a little bit better there. In terms of sound here, the stereo speakers on the HTC One definitely is louder, or I mean, I should say definitely that video or the sound quality is better with the boom sound that they're calling it. You also have a built-in amplifier, and as you see, Beats here at the bottom may not be the best sound that you can get, but on a phone right now, stereo speakers must be the best experience that you can have right now. So definitely something that you should consider if you think sound is really important to you. Of course, as I said earlier, you can't remove the battery, you can't remove SD storage, or you don't have an option to insert an SD card to expand the memory. So when you buy the variants here, that internal storage you get, that's what you get. And the iPhone 5 comes in 16, 32, and 64GB variants, while the HTC One is available in 32 and 64GB variants, or 32 32 and 64 gigabyte variants. There's no 16 gigabyte variant, and as we did see, at least where I live, the 16 gigabyte variant iPhone 5 versus the 32 gigabyte HTC One, the cost around the same, so it could be something that you might want to consider. 2 gigabytes of RAM also inside of the HTC One versus 1 gigabyte that you get inside of the iPhone 5, so a little bit more. You also get NFC, which is good for transferring stuff, and some mobile payments is starting to use NFC technology, and that's built into the HTC One. You also get an IR port here at the front side, which you can use sometimes to use your HTC One as a remote controller. Also featured as well in the Galaxy S4. Now, it didn't work for me. I mean, I can use it with my smart TV, use my S4 to control the TV, but it didn't support my box, and I have a Tele2 box in Sweden, but it did support a lot of other different boxes that was available, so definitely could be something cool there if you want to use your phone as a remote controller, you know, just to change what's going on your TV. Pretty cool and high tech. Camera, you do get the 4 megapixel camera, ultra pixel camera on the HTC One with the gimmick feature called the HTC Zoe feature, which makes you produce almost like a GIF picture in a video form. It takes around maybe like 12 pictures and a 3-second video, and then you can choose the picture you want that looks the best. I mean, I think that's a gimmick feature. I don't think many people use it. Could be probably a little bit useful for some people, but the main thing though is that 4 megapixel is really low. They're trying to market it as ultra pixel, and that it's a little bit better probably in low light conditions versus the iPhone 5. But still, 4 megapixel, that is half of what you would get here on the iPhone 5. So definitely something that you want to look out there, that the sharpness of pictures won't even be close to as good on the HTC One when you really zoom in. And I've already made a video comparing the HTC One versus the S4 and some other phones out there on the market like the Xperia Z, and get so much more details with those phones than the HTC One's 4 megapixel camera. You do get, although in video mode, you get optical optical image stabilization, which is producing some stable things over there, some stable shots. So if we continue also now, you get in chipset, we get the Apple A6 chipset. Apple doesn't like to talk that much about specs, but we Android geeks like that. So you get the Snapdragon 600 chipset inside of the HTC One, clocked at 1.7 gigahertz quad core versus only the dual core 1.2 gigahertz processor inside of the iPhone 5. Could also be something that you want to know over there. So also in terms of the GPU, you get the Adreno 320 GPU here inside of the HTC One, which is a very new GPU, run Gameloft games, amazing. It's one of the best GPUs available right now on the market. It's also, I think it also comes in the Xperia Z. It also comes in the Samsung Galaxy S4, so really good for developers there, that everyone is starting to use the same GPU, and that's the graphic processing unit, I think it stands for. So of course that is very, very nice. Versus the PowerVR SGX 543 MP3 triple core GPU that you get inside of the iPhone 5. And the good thing with the iPhone 5 is that it has a smaller display, smaller resolution, so it doesn't require that of a good GPU, but it still has a triple core GPU, and you just know that every single App Store game will run amazing on this device, because developers really work hard on optimizing their games for the latest iPhone. The battery here, you get a 2300 milliamp inside of the HTC One versus a 1440 milliamp battery that you get in the iPhone 5. So you probably should see at least some better performance here on the HTC One in terms of battery life, even though the iPhone 5 has way lower. It's only a dual-core processor, lower resolution screen, and most of the time it will just run apps, so it won't really require that much battery here. So now, if we take a quick look here at some things here, some quick look at the browser. If you want to take a look at the screen here, both screens actually looks very good. Both are LCD screens. And of course, in terms of browsing, you will see more here on the HTC One. I actually do believe that the color white probably looks a little bit better here on the LED backlit iPhone 5 display. It probably looks a little bit more real. And we can zoom in a lot here, of course, in the Safari browser. While when we try to do the same here, we can't zoom in as much. But the HTC One has a cool feature, the text reflow feature. So when you zoom in a lot on text, it will reflow the text, so it will be very, very easy to read. So definitely that is one advantage here, and that is it's just easier to, let's see here. Yeah, also that when you scroll probably up and down, you can go up and down very, very quick here. Let's see here. So you can go up and down very, very quick here on the HTC One, while you have to do this a little bit more times with the iPhone 5. Could be something that could be a little bit annoying. Could be. But overall, I would say that, I mean, these displays looks really, really similar. I'm not really sure if I can tell you the difference. Probably the saturation here is a little bit better here on the iPhone 5 display, but I really can't tell. White also did look a little bit better there in the browser, but I think probably most people won't really be able to see a difference. I mean, it looks really, really good on both. You can probably see a little bit better also in brightness outside on the iPhone 5 display, because it's an LED backlit one. Because I did try that out, and I did see some reviews about that, some complaints. So that is very, very nice. Now also, if we take a look at some quick gaming here, so let's just fire up a quick game. So let's fire up a game here called Repulse. And I mean, I should also say that you will kind of get the best gaming performance on both these devices at the moment, because this is the latest iOS device, and this is the latest or one of the latest Android smartphones, and it is having the Adreno 320 GPU that you will get in the Galaxy S4 and also the Sony Xperia Z and in the Nexus 4. So most Android smartphones right now have the Adreno 320 GPU. So as you can see, I have some problems here with the small little display. So if we start off here, this is a new kind of cool game. So no problems here. The phone feels extremely good to hold in the hand because of its aluminum body. And this kind of arch design really makes the device feel good. And the screen, of course, is pretty good in size, 4.7 inch. It could be a little bit bigger though, that would be nice to see one of those 4-inch or 5-inch phones. And of course, this is probably not the most heaviest program out or app out for gaming, but it runs amazing at least. It's a new popular game. Okay, there we go. Awesome performance. Let's check it out now on the iPhone. So of course the gaming performance, if you would ask me, is not as fun because the display is so much smaller, and I think it really do impact the gaming performance. I shouldn't say anything about the app performance though, runs amazing here. And of course also the phone feels extremely good to hold in the hand because it's extremely compact. But for me personally, it really ruins that the screen is so small. But some people enjoy it. Some people want that small little screen. So let's continue now, and let's just go and go into a quick little benchmarking look. Or let's go to Kindle first and see how these perform. The screens here. So what I can see here when I'm in reading mode here also is that white looks actually very good on both phones here, but maybe a little bit more white on the iPhone 5. But I'm gonna say that it's a fair comparison here, that no one is the winner here because both looks extremely good. But then of course you will get 1080p resolution here on the HTC One, so that means that when you go with really small text plus the 4.7-inch screen, you will be able to read more. But both good performance here, and so that's awesome. Now, if we go back and let's go to some quick little benchmarking look here in Geekbench. And this is one of the apps where you can see how some apps really look so much better on the iPhone. This one like loaded up and has an ugly menu, while this one's like more pretty and stuff. Okay, there we go. We got a score of 2,729, and we should get a much better score here on the HTC One. So the potential should be way bigger here, and yes, definitely it is almost twice the score here. In terms of, you know, most of it, of course, is the CPU here. That gets an amazing score because it's a quad-core one, plus it's high clocked and it's a newer generation. So that's very nice if you will use that. And in terms of the camera, as I've already stated, the camera on, of course, in iOS, it's way more simplified. In the option menu, you only have grid and HDR mode. But I think most people, they just fire up the camera, they take a picture, and then they are done with it. You can also take pictures extremely quick here also. So that's very good. You can zoom in, see a lot of details, go up and down, pretty awesome. While you get this ultra pixel camera on this HTC One, SOE feature. So first I can show you the 4 megapixel camera. It has a 4 megapixel camera, so that means that when you zoom in a lot on pictures, they won't be super crisp. They will look kind of blurred and a little bit weird. But it should be better in low light performance. Like if you are a lot in dark environments, it could probably perform a little bit better. Then it has this SOE feature here where you enable it and take a picture. It will also record a 3-second video. As you can see. And we could also click here and take the picture we want and share it to our friends or whatever. So that's their SOE little feature. I don't think it's that special, but what I think is nice, especially here with the HTC One, is that it do have some nice features here. When you click here, you do have some quick, very cool effects that you can easily add. Like this one, like pixelated and stuff. Pretty cool actually. I think they're actually awesome effects here that they have built in. So in that kind of way, the camera is pretty cool. And also in terms of video mode, that you get the optical image stabilization on the HTC One, so you should get some more stable shots overall. So that is very nice. But overall, I would say that you probably get some little better performance there on the iPhone 5. So that is nice. Or nice, you know, kind of depends, of course. So to sum it up, which would I pick as a winner here? Well, it's probably going to be the HTC One, because for me personally, the screen is just too small on the iPhone. It really is too small. I like to experiment with stuff, and I want that bigger screen. So first, why would you want to pick up the iPhone 5? Well, it's more secure. You know what you're getting. You know that the app's going to be good quality. You know the camera is also going to be very good quality versus the 4 megapixel one on the HTC One. Simple buttons, easier to have in your hand, and also great support from Apple if something bad would happen to your iPhone. and then also that many apps is in general better quality in the App Store. You know that every single new game in the App Store will run amazing on the iPhone. Versus, why would you want to pick up the HTC One? Well, the HTC One, bigger screen, feels extremely robust. I love the aluminum body, which looks kind of cool to show to your friends. It kind of looks like the MacBook Pro design, MacBook computers, because it has stereo speakers, and I think that's one of the killer features with the phone, stereo speakers. And then also that you have more freedom in the Android world. I also think that's a big deal for me. You can have widgets, you can change launcher, you have an NFC and an IR port also, the optical image stabilization, which could also be pretty sweet. And also you can save up some money if you buy or if you wait here a little bit, maybe buy the HTC One a little bit later. You can probably save up some money over there. So a quick little video here comparing these two devices. If you did like this video, you can leave a like. If you have any questions about anything specific, you can tell me also that in the comment section down below. But yeah, until next time, just have an awesome day. And if you do like my videos, you can subscribe. It's free, of course. What is this? Spotify. Great. Have a good day.